Hey everybody, welcome to week 4 for my meet prep for the Grit Power Open on January 12th. So, first week in quite some time, we're back to the straight bar. Took some time off of competition squats to let my elbow tendonitis heal up, and we're using mostly the safety squat bar, so we're finally back to competition squats. So right here we got 365, and my first week back I think I did 3 sets of 5 here at 365. Wanted to work this up a bit more to maybe 5 sets of 5 after a heavy single, but since this is the first week back with the straight bar, we're going to do 3 sets of 5. So next week we're going to shoot for 4 sets, and then the week after that we'll probably work up to a heavy single and then back down for 5x5 to really bring up the volume at around 6 to 7 weeks out from the meet. And then kind of taking a little bit of a deadlift deload this week, so instead of doing all the singles that I normally did, we just worked up to 1 single at 480 pounds, because after this week the deadlift training is really going to start to ramp up. So then we were back in the garage for Wednesday, November the 7th, for some benching. So this is the first time I actually got some weight on the bar after straining my pec a little. It felt pretty good here with 250 pounds for 5 sets of 5, and every set actually felt a little better. So I kind of hurt my pec because I was messing around and not really using good bench technique and slamming the bar off my chest. So I know that's not going to help me in a competition. I got to get away from that stuff. So we're working on some good pauses here, and I'm actually going to try to make these pauses even a little longer. Try to pause longer than what I would be expected to pause for in a meet, and I really want to work on getting tighter on the bottom. I have a problem with just letting the bar sink in my chest and losing tightness, and when you do that, you're going to lose a lot of energy when you get that press command again in competition and try to drive that bar up. So I'm really going to have long pauses, working on staying really tight, squeezing the bar, keeping my lats and upper back tight, keeping the weight on my traps, and just imagining like there's a piece of glass on my chest and I'm not trying to break it. I really like that cue. It's a really good cue, and that way I don't lose all that energy and I can work on my pauses, and when I get that press command, I'm just ready to drive up. And I think I did a pretty good job of it on this day. Not every rep was perfect, but my traps and everything were pretty fatigued just after benching, so I could feel it, so I know I was keeping tight like I was supposed to. But the biggest positive from this workout was no pec pain. As the workout went on, every set got better and I had absolutely no pain. Now when I benched again on Saturday, it was a little sore, but we're still moving in the right direction. And after benching, we did some overhead, still working the overhead press, just keeping it light. I find that heavy overhead, when you're really trying to bring up your bench, doesn't coincide too well. So I like to keep the weight on the overhead press in the 8, 10, 12 rep range while I'm really focusing on bench. Going heavier than that for like sets of 5, 3, whatever, kind of takes away from my bench training. And we superset those overheads with these chest supported rows. I really like these. I tried to stick to rows that don't put too much torque or strain on my lower back, because we are squatting, deadlifting twice a week. Even a bench could be pretty hard on the low back. And then we finished the session with some shrugs, because I want to look jacked. Hey, big traps are cool, so whatever, you know. And we also did a little bit of arm stuff and a little bit of conditioning on the heavy bag. I like to do a lot of conditioning. Anybody who watches my videos know I do a lot of conditioning. But gradually, as we get closer to the meet, I'll cut back on the intense conditioning stuff and just stick to some short walks throughout the day. Okay, then Friday, November 9th. Now, this turned out to be a great workout. Got off night shift that morning, was up running around the whole day. Then my son had hockey that night, so we didn't have a whole lot of time to train. So we rushed through this squat workout, but it actually went really well. Back to the straight bar again, and we did 4 sets of 10 at 315 pounds with some pretty short rest breaks. I was gassed after this. Legs were shaking, lungs were burning, because like we had to rush through these pretty quick. And I think this might be like a volume PR for me. I don't think I've ever done 4 sets of 10 at 315 pounds. Even when I was younger and squatting over 500, I don't think I was able to do that much volume. So that was pretty good. And again, we were back to the straight bar. Elbows felt good. Now, since this is kind of a deadlift deload week, and I was really pressed for time. After we got these squats done, we didn't deadlift. Normally I would do some easy deadlifts on this day, but we just left them out. And after these squats, my low back was pretty pumped anyway. So we just did the 4 sets of 10 on squats. Then we did 4 sets of 10 on the glute ham raise, superset it with 4 sets of 10 of the ab wheel. Didn't film that for you guys, but that was it for that workout. And then I literally had to like change my clothes and run out the door to take my son to his hockey game. But we were pretty happy with how this went. And yeah, these were real friggin' barn burners. They hurt. And this was the last set here, toughest set. But I've been kind of working on my squat technique, and I was a little worried it would be really off this week after working on just the safety squat bar for so long. But I was quite happy with how these felt that day. I feel like I got a good position. I got locked in pretty good. You know, if I get the bar too low, it bothers my elbows a lot and takes away from my bench. And then if I get the bar too high, I really have a tendency to drift forward. I know I just need to make my abs and back stronger. I've been working on that. But I think on this day, we finally found a sweet spot, and we're going to try to duplicate that over the next few weeks and really work on that. And I got my head in a good position. I've been playing around with a lot of different things, but that was the best squats felt in a long time, and it was the first week back with the straight bar, so I was pretty happy with that. So then Saturday, November 10th, so this was kind of a boring workout. The pec was a little sore after the heavier pause bench on Wednesday, so we took it kind of easy. And the day before I did those squats, I was up the whole day after night shift. My son had hockey, so we were late getting to bed the night before. So I decided the smart thing to do would be to take it a little easy on this session, because, you know, I was pretty much up a lot after working night shifts for 2 days. So we just did 4 sets of 8 at 225 pounds, and we still got a nice upper body workout in. That was it for the bench, and not a lot. Nice and light, not to aggravate that sore pec again, and not crazy amount of volume, just 4 sets of 8. But then after this, we did some lat work, some tricep work, and it was still a pretty good workout. So all in all, I'm pretty happy with how the week of training went. Was finally able to get some weight back on my sore pec, and got back to the straight bar on squats, and they felt really good. Elbows felt good, so things have been going great. So the next coming weeks, we're going to ramp up the deadlift training, try some stuff inspired by Matt Gary, and we're going to keep the squat and bench rolling, take a lot of time to do some mobility work, stay healthy, and that's it. Train with bad intentions.